in this video, I'm going to teach you unit circle method. Okay, this is one very interesting method. Okay, of finding sine, cos, and tan. So what happens is when you're solving any of the problem, okay, you will always come across something like this. So you want to find out, say, sine of some angle. Okay, and that can be any angle given to you like this, and you want to find out the answer to this, and this can be done in a very effortlessly and a very straightforward way once you learn the method that I'm going to about to teach you. So the method we're discussing is called as the unit circle method. You can obviously see a circle here. Now let me first thing that I tell you that this here is a unit circle. Okay, now when I say unit circle, what it means is the radius of this circle is 1. So I'm just writing down r is equal to 1. Just keep that point in mind. And now I will start teaching you the technique. You have to pay good attention to what I'm saying. Okay, what we'll do is, first of all, you need to know all the radian measures. So we're going to treat all our angles in radians and not in degrees. Okay, so quickly let me write down the conversions here. The conversion is 180 degrees is equal to pi radians. That's the standard conversion. Okay, once you know that, let me write down some standard angles in radians. If it is 30 degrees, we write it as pi by 6 radians. That C is for radians. If it is 60 degrees, then we write it as pi by 3 radians. And 45 degrees, the standard angle, is pi by 4 radians. And 90 degree standard angle is pi by 2 radians. So if you solve enough problems of math, you will remember them automatically. Don't worry about it so much. But as of now, for your reference, I have written all the angles in degree and radian measures both. Now, first, what we do in unit circle method is we will divide this first quadrant. Do you know this angle is 90 degrees? Okay, so the first quadrant, the 90 degree angle, we will divide into 3 parts. So now this is the first part. Okay, so let me draw that line here. And this is the second and the third part. Please try to understand that every angle is 30. This is 30, this is 30, and this is 30. So total it adds up to 90. Anyways, now we usually write down our angles like this, right? We'll write down angle of if we have an angle, we write an angle as 60 degrees over here. Okay, I'm just going to change this a bit. Instead of writing it at this point, I'm going to write down on the top here. So just to keep these things easy to understand. So that's just a little bit of modification than what we are used to. So I will take this 30 degrees over here. And the first point about unit circle method is we want our angles in radian measure and not in degree measure, because radian measures actually makes it much more easier, or it's easier to deal with when they're in radian measure. So let's do that first. I don't want to write 30 degrees. Okay, so we'll make that radian. So how much is it? When I say 30 degrees, okay, that is nothing but pi by 6 radians. Okay, so let me write down this as pi by 6 radians. And when you don't write any units, it's by default going to be assumed as radians. Okay, so it's a default measure. Just keep that in the mind. Now, once you write down this as pi by 6, now I'm going to teach you one technique, and you have to pay attention to what I'm saying. What you can do is, if you know this as pi by 6, then supposing if I draw a line like this, okay, so on this point, okay, on this point, let me connect this point with this over here, and now I'm talking about this angle. Okay, say this angle from this point up to this point, this angle. Okay, this angle can be easily predicted by looking at pi by 6. And here is a technique. Pay good attention to what I'm saying. Okay, do we know when I say pi by 6, is it 1 pi by 6? Okay, this is 1 pi by 6, right? Now, after 1, just count the next number. After 1, the next number is 2. So let us write 2. Now, just see if the 2 and 6 get simplified or not. Yeah, 2 1s are 2 and 2 3s are 6. So this gets simplified. So discard it. Don't take 2. Okay, what is the next number? 3. Is 3 getting simplified with 6? Yes, 3 2s are 6, 3 1s are 3. I hope you get the point. So you want to find out a number which does not get simplified with the denominator. Will 4 get simplified with the denominator? Yes. Will 5 get simplified with the denominator? If I write 5 over here, it doesn't get simplified. Okay, so that's exactly what this angle is. That's a very smart way to remember these angles. this angle is going to be 5 pi by 6. Okay, so what you will do, I'll just explain the procedure again. Basically, this angle is pi by 6 radians, we already know. Now, pi by 6 radians simply means 1 pi by 6. You just keep counting numbers after 1, like 2, 3, 4, 5, and stop when you find a number which does not get simplified with denominator. And in our case right now, it is 5 pi by 6. So once you get that, you don't have to worry about it. This angle is exactly that. It is exactly 5 pi by 6. Okay, if you want, you can verify. So that is how we find the next angle. Now we just have to keep on doing this and you will be able to find out all the angles. So if I just continue drawing line like this, and let's say if I get here, now I'm talking about this angle. Okay, so, and angles are always with the positive x. Okay, it's going to be always with respect to this line. So if I say this angle, say so much angle, okay, how do I find this angle? Okay, first is you have to understand how to identify angles. After 5, you find the next number, that is 6. 6, does it get simplified with 6? Yes, it does. So discard that. Go for the next one. What is the next number after 6? 7. And 7 does not get simplified with 6. So it is going to be 7 pi by 6. This angle here. Okay. Now, if I just keep going like this, now what is going to be the next angle? Okay. Same drill. So you have 7 pi by 6. Just keep counting. 8, 9. 9 will also get simplified. 10 will also get simplified with 6. Don't take that. So the next number that does not get simplified with the denominator 6 is 11 pi by 6. I hope you got, I hope you understood the trick that we have to find out the angle. Okay. So now you can just like remember this entire thing as a series of pi by 6. So let me just draw this line also. That's this angle here. And I hope you also understand that 11 pi by 6 is angle from here to here. Okay. All this angle is 11 pi by 6. Okay, from 0 to this point. Okay, fair enough. So once you understand this, now you can find out all the angles using the same technique. Okay, so now let us write down about this angle. So when I write down about this angle, I obviously mean this angle here. Okay, and can you see it is a 60-degree angle? Now this 60 degree, what are we calling it 60 degree as? 60 degree is nothing but pi by 3 radians, and we want to write it in radians. And that too, don't write it here. We have usually practice of writing 60 degrees like this, no? So let us avoid that, okay? Let me write that down here. So the angle is going to be 60 degrees, which is nothing but pi by 3 radians, okay? Now once you get this as pi by 3 radians, what is the next angle on the unit circle? You just have to go here. And the next angle after pi by 3, once again you have 1 pi by 3. Next is 2 pi by 3. Is 2 getting simplified with 3? No, there is absolutely no simplification, right? So the next number that does not get simplified with 3 over here is 2 pi by 3. Is this clear? So now just keep on doing that. So let me extend it like this. So if I extend this angle here is going to be 4 pi by 3. Now keep doing that and then you will reach here, and then this angle here after 4 pi by 3 you can take 5 pi by 3, 5 pi by 3. Okay, and that is the another series. I have color coded them. So the red series is of pi by 3s, okay, where you have denominator 3, and the black series is pi by 6, and that way you can like decide all the angles. So let us write down the rest of the angles also. Let me use a different color for this though. That 45-degree angle is pi by 4. Okay, clearly 45 degrees is going to be between 60 and 30. 30 and 60 ke beech mein hoga. So this angle here is 45 degrees. So let me not draw the line. This is 45 degrees, but we will write it in radians, which is pi by 4 radians. Okay, and the next angle is going to be here in between these two. Do you see it is exactly opposite to this? Okay, so the next angle is going to be 3 pi by 4, correct? And the next angle which will be here, it is going to be after 3 it is 4, you will take 5 pi by 4. This is 5 pi by 4, and then this will be 7 pi by 4. So these are all 45-degree standard angles. Now only thing that is remaining is now 90 degrees. So the 90 degrees, okay, I have got blue. So 90 degrees is pi by 2. That is over here. This is pi by 2. Okay. And this is, of course, 0 degrees, isn't it? This angle is 0 degrees. This angle here is pi. That is 180 degrees. That's a pi radians. I'm talking about this angle. Okay. And that's pi, because we know that 180 degrees is written as pi radians. Fair enough. So once I do that, then how about this angle? Okay, again, you can use the same technique. You know what? You have 1 pi by 2. So after 1, the next number is 2. Okay, but that gets simplified. Don't take that same logic. And you will get this as 3 pi by 2. This is 3 pi by 2. Okay, that's it. This is pi by 2. This is 3 pi by 2. So in the first step, what we have done is we have figured out all the angles. Okay, this is literally the first step done. And I strongly recommend you can just like remember these angles. So I'll tell you how you remember. Okay, the circle, let's say quickly divided into 4 parts. The smaller angle, like this angle, is 30 degrees, which is nothing but pi by 6 radians. Now this is a series of pi by 6. It goes like this, from here to here to here to here to here. This is a series of pi by 6. So pi by 6, remember this, okay? 5 pi by 6. Then the next angle is 7 pi by 6. And after 7, the next angle is 11 pi by 6. Okay, that's how you get the pi by 6 series. Okay, after pi by 6 series is done, next you can remember pi by 3 series. Okay, so what is a pi by 3 series going to be? Pi by 3 is this bigger angle. Okay, 60 degrees is pi by 3. No, this is 60 degrees and that is pi by 3. Let us write down pi by 3 here. So if this is pi by 3, I'm just like revising all this for you. If this is pi by 3, this angle is going to be 2 pi by 3. Then if you go here, it is going to be 4 pi by 3. Then the next angle here, which is 5 pi by 3. Okay, so we have written all the angles like this. Same logic goes for pi by 4 also. But I want to really keep 5 by 4 for later. Like right now, let us focus on the series of pi by 6 and series of pi by 3. Okay, so first you like remember the positioning of the angle, and trust me, it's going to help you immensely. All right. Now, once you remember the angles, the next is we now want to find out the sine and cos values of all these angles. And once again, there is a technique that I want you to remember. Okay, it is like this. Okay, which color can I use? I've actually used up all the colors. Let me use, say, purple. Okay, understand that the distance from here, say distance from here to distance from here to here. Okay, all this distance. Do you know what this distance is? Okay, you just have to read what is this circle. This circle is unit circle. And when I say unit circle, it simply means the radius is 1. So this full distance is going to be 1. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, it'll all make sense in a minute. The next thing that you have to remember, that if it is little shorter of 1, let's say it is only from here to here. If it is little shorter of 1, say this distance. Okay, this distance is going to be root 3 by 2. Okay, you just have to believe me on this. Okay, you can measure if you want. But then this distance is root 3 by 2. And the exact half of this full length. Of course, now this distance is half. I'm sure you can just see and know. Okay, so primarily on this circle situation, there are only 3 distances that you have to worry about. Okay, the full distance, say from here, okay, up to say here, say this distance, full is 1. Remember that. If you are going little short of 1, okay, then this distance is root 3 by 2. If you are going exact half of this line, then this distance is half. Okay, so full is 1. The little short of 1 is going to be root 3 by 2. And exact half is half. You have to really remember this. And in a minute, you will be able to answer sine, cos of any of the angle. I'll just show you how. Now, next, one last thing that you do remember before we go to that solving part is whenever you want sine, okay, you always measure vertical. And whenever you want cos, you always measure horizontal. Just keep these 2 things in mind. One is about the distance. Another is sine, you will measure vertical. Cos, you measure horizontal. Now, once you know so much, I will show you how you can find out. Say I want to find sine of pi by 6. Okay. And what is the value of sine pi by 6? First thing you find out, where is that angle pi by 6? Do you see it is over here? This angle is pi by 6. Is it correct? Okay. Now, once you figure out that angle is over here, now next you see you want to find out what sine you want to find out or cos you want to find out. It is sine you want to find out right now. So if you want to find sine, you have to measure vertical. So here I will measure vertical, okay, for this angle. So I want to measure this height, okay. I want to measure this height, let's say. Now from here to here, if I want to measure the height, say this height, you can actually map it here on the circle. Do you see it is same as this height? This eye height here is same as this height. And can you just by symmetry see that this is the half of the full? Remember, there are only three distances. You have full one. If it is little short, then it is root 3 by 2. And if it is half, it is half. So I hope you can see my diagram is not very accurate that way. But then can you still see that this is half and this is half and the total is 1? So basically when I measure vertical, that this distance is working out to be half. And that is exactly what this answer is. So this value is going to be half. So let me write that down nicely. That sine of pi by 6 is half. Okay, I hope you got the idea, but then let me do one more. And now let me explain that again. Okay, pay attention. Supposing if I want to find out sine of pi by 3. Okay, so what is the value of sine of pi by 3? Okay, you have to see where is this angle pi by 3. Okay, on the unit circle, the pi by 3 angle is over here. Now, once you say this is the pi by 3 angle, what are you trying to find out, sine or cos? You're finding sine, right? So if you're finding sine, you have to measure vertical. Sine is vertical. Do you see that here? Okay, let us measure vertical. Okay, if I measure vertical for this angle, how much is the vertical height? Is it this height? Okay, and can you see this height is same as this height, this distance here? And do you see this distance is little short of 1 because the radius is 1? This entire radius is 1. So our distance is little short of 1. Yeah, you guessed it right. So what is going to be the answer of this number here? What is sine of pi by 3? The vertical distance, like this one, of this angle pi by 3. So that's going to be root 3 by 2. Do you remember? If it is little shorter than 1, then it is root 3 by 2. Okay, let us do one more. Say if I want to now find, say, cos of pi by 6. Okay, the procedure will remain same. First you find out where is pi by 6. It's over here. Okay, but now are you finding sine? No, you're finding cos. Now what did I tell you about cos? You measure horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to measure horizontal for pi by 6. The horizontal distance is this much. Now this distance here, okay, is same as this distance here. Now for this distance, okay, do you see it is little short of 1? It is from here to here, so it is short of 1. Okay, so it's little short of 1. We know it's going to be root 3 by 2. Do you see that? So the answer here is going to be root 3 by 2. That's how we find cos pi by 6. Okay, now before we go to the next one, I just want to quickly explain one very important point here, that supposing if I want to find out, say, cos of 2 pi by 3. Okay, let us all do this. Now when I want to do cos of 2 pi by 3, first angle 2 pi by 3 is over here. Okay, and I want to find cos. And as per what I told you, that cos is a horizontal measure or a horizontal distance. So this much distance you will take. Okay, now if you want to measure this distance, okay, you can just see it is same as this distance. And this distance, the horizontal distance, is half of the full thing. Yes or no? So what is going to be the answer of cos of 2 pi by 3? It is half. Okay, but half, now just have to be one very important point you to be careful about, that this is actually minus half. It's not plus half, it's negative half. Why would that be negative? Because it is a horizontal distance, right? So if you look at horizontal, that is the x-axis, is it negative on this side? Okay, so if you're going here, it is going to be negative half. I hope you get that point. Okay, so let me write that. Cos of 2 pi by 3 is going to be minus half. Okay, let's do one more. Now supposing if I want to find out sine of 5 pi by 3, okay, what will be the value of sine of 5 pi by 3? Now for sine of 5 pi by 3, the angle is over here. Can you see? This is the angle. Now we want to find sine 5 pi by 3. That means we want to know vertical distance. Okay. Now so much distance, is it root 3 by 2? That's just little short of 1, and that's why it is root 3 by 2. Okay. So this distance is root 3 by 2. So sine of 5 pi by 3 is going to be root 3 by 2. And I'm sure you have guessed it now, that because it is vertically downwards, okay, now here that root 3 by 2, what you said as a distance, we'll take it as negative because it is vertically downwards. So now this angle is not root 3, this answer is not root 3 by 2, but it is minus root 3 by 2. Now I'll make it a little bit easy for you to understand. Now to do this, take care of this negative sign. Some people are mostly, a lot of students are confused with this positive and negative signs. Now one simple technique for that is you can just remember this diagram. Okay, so let us see the diagram here. The diagram says all silver tea cups. Okay, that's just a way to remember. All silver tea cups, or you can say all students take calculus. Okay, whichever you want to remember it. I usually remember this as all silver tea cups. Okay, now let me explain what this means. This means that in this quadrant, in the first quadrant, okay, over here, all are positive. Whether it is sine, cos, all of them are positive. But in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. Okay, sine is positive, then cos and tan, all of that is going to be negative. In the third quadrant, it is tan that is positive. Whatever is written here is positive. So the t is positive. And I'm sure you can guess in the fourth quadrant, cos is positive. So this basically tells you all silver teacups. So you can actually use this technique to figure out whether it is minus or plus. So now we will revisit this one. Okay. Now let's just see how we can use this diagram to find out whether it is minus or plus. Now for that, you will just see what is, where is 5 pi by 3. Okay. We already know 5 pi by 3 is over here. Now 5 pi by 3 as an angle is in which quadrant? This quadrant. Okay. So this is the angle, no? This angle here is 5 pi by 3. And it falls into 1, 2, 3, fourth quadrant. And in the fourth quadrant, as per this diagram, we know cos is positive. And we are finding sine. So the sine value has to be negative. Okay. I hope you followed how to use this table. So one more we will solve. And now we will only use this table here, this one here. Okay. It is very important. So let me do one more. Say if I have to find sine of 4 pi by 3. Okay. First of all, once again, where is 4 pi by 3? It's going to be here. Now, what are we finding? Sine or cos? Sine. When you're finding sine, whether you measure vertical or horizontal, you measure vertical. So let us measure vertical. Okay. The vertical measure is going to be this much. Now, if this is your vertical measure, so much is this sine 4 pi by 3. Now, did you get the idea that this is almost 1? It's almost same as this, which is almost 1, but not exactly 1. So this value is root 3 by 2. So answer for sine 4 pi by 3 is surely root 3 by 2. So this is root 3 by 2. Okay. Now you have to check whether it is positive or negative. So as soon as you write down the answer, you can just remember all silver teacups. And our 4 pi by 3 is in which quadrant? It is in third quadrant. 1, 2, 3. Third quadrant. And in the third quadrant, if you see all silver T, that is tan. Do you see tan is positive? So are we talking about tan? No. So what we are finding, sine. So tan is positive. So what else? Others are negative, right? So the sign is going to be negative. Okay. So this answer will be minus root 3 by 2. So let me restore my diagrams first. So let me erase this out. This will be the final answer for this one is going to be minus of root 3 by 2. So I hope you followed how this works. Okay. If you haven't really understood any of the steps, I strongly suggest you go back and again review these things. So moving on. Okay. I will leave this table for your reference, this diagram here for your reference, and let us find out sine and cos of some other angles. Okay. Let me do one more for your practice. Let's say I want to find out sine of 7 pi by 6. Okay. This is a series of pi by 6. Okay. And for 7 pi by 6, the angle is here. So once you know this is the angle, okay, you want to find out sine. And sine is going to be vertical measure. So now I want to know the vertical, this height here. And you can clearly see the height is half. Okay. So the sine of 7 pi by 6 is definitely half. Okay. And all you have to worry about, figure out is whether it is positive or negative. So now just see, where is 7 pi by 6? 7 pi by 6 is lying in which quadrant? It is lying in third quadrant. And third quadrant, we know the tan is positive. So what we are finding is sine. So it cannot be positive. It has to be negative. So the answer for this is minus half. So let me write that. Sine of 7 pi by 6. Sine of 7 pi by 6 is minus half. Okay. That's how I get the answer. Now let us solve some more. What if I want to find out, say, sine of pi by 2? Okay, sine of pi by 2. Where is angle pi by 2? It's over here. Now sine, when you want to find out the vertical distance. So that is this distance here. Okay. Now, do you see this is clearly 1? Once again, let me remind you, we have a unit circle and that means the radius is 1. So that's why it is 1. Fair enough. So that answer here is going to be 1. Okay. Now, what is going to be, say, sine of 3 pi by 2? Now, 3 pi by 2 is here. Okay. Sine is going to be a vertical measure. So this is this height. Okay. Vertical. And this height is minus 1. Okay. I hope you understand the distance is 1. But because it is vertically downwards, it is minus 1. Or you can see that in this quadrant, tan, cos are all positive, but sine is definitely negative. So you'll get this as minus 1. Okay. Let me just do a few more. What if I want to find, say, sine of pi? Okay. Now this is a bit tricky. Let's talk about sine of pi. Okay. Pi is this angle. And what is the height of this? Like this is on the x-axis itself. So the height of this angle is just 0. So you will get this answer as sine pi is equal to 0. All right. That's about it. So these are some of the standard angles that we've dealt with. But then I have not spoken about pi by 4 yet. I'll tell you that in a minute. And okay, let's do that then. So what if your angle is, say, pi by 4? Okay. And actually it is much easier than all of this put together. So just see what you can do for pi by 4. Say, just remember one point, that if you have, whether it is sine or it is cos, and if this value is just some pi by 4, let's say 3 pi by 4, okay, whenever you have pi by 4 or this 4 in denominator for some angle, please remember the answer is either plus 1 by root 2 or minus 1 by root 2. It can't be anything else. So whenever you say sine of, say, 1115 pi by 4, some number, any number is good, and you see divide by 4, you know the answer is 1 by root 2. Well, it can be plus or minus. That's a different story. But the answer is going to be 1 by root 2 for sure. For any number pi divided by 4. It can be sine or it can be cos. For cos also it is the same story. You will still get 1 by root 2, plus or minus. All right. So I hope you understood this part, that whether it is sine or cos, So let me say you have any number here, any number, it's hard to read, any number pi by 4, and this value will be 1 by root 2 for sure. You just have to check sign, whether it is plus or minus. So let's just see one more. Say if I have sine of 5 pi by 4. Okay, looking at by 4, this denominator being 4, we know the answer is 1 by root 2. Okay, but then whether it is positive or negative, we can decide by looking at this diagram here. So first figure out where is pi by 4. Pi by 4 is this green, right? Pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, and 5 pi by 5 pi by 4 is over here. Okay, and which quadrant is this 5 pi by 4 is in? It's in third quadrant, and in the third quadrant only tan is positive as per this diagram here. So if tan is positive, the sign value has to be negative. So now this answer is going to be minus 1 by root 2. So for pi by 4, it is even more easier. Okay, so that's how this is done. And now moving on, next what we will do is we will look at more standard angles and sine and cos, because these things really play a lot of important role in solving a lot of questions. Okay, that's coming up. Let's see the next one now. Now I have drawn one more circle to give a special attention to some of the standard angles. Okay, we know that this angle is just 0. Okay, this point. We know this angle is pi by 2. Okay, all written in radians. This angle is pi. Okay, I'm talking about this angle. Okay, this angle here, we know it is 3 pi by 2. Okay, now what if I take one complete circle? One complete circle is going to be 360 degrees, and 360 degrees is equivalent to 2 pi. Okay, now you can just remember that if I keep going, like if I do say so much, it is 2 pi. And what if I do so much? Okay, it is 2 pi plus pi, that's going to be 3 pi. So this angle is 3 pi. I hope you understood. And you can simply remember that it is 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, all the even pi's will come here, and pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, all the odd pi's will come here. Okay, at this point. Okay, these are called as coterminous angle. So anyways, now this is pi by 2, this is 3 pi by 2. You can like keep going like that. So supposing if you start from here, and if you take one complete circle, and if you come back here, okay, first thing, this is pi by 2. Do you agree? Then if you go here, it is 3 pi by 2. If you complete a circle and if you come back again, okay, now that angle would be 5 pi by 2. Okay, I hope you know that, remember the trick. After 1, it is 3 pi by 2. Then after 3, it is 5. So 5 pi by 2. After 5, it is 7 pi by 2. After 7, it is 9 pi by 2. After 9, it is 11 pi by 2. You can just like keep on going like this. So these are all the angles: pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2, 9 pi by 2, 11 pi by 2. Anyways, okay. So once you write like this, I want to just like address few points here. That first is, what is going to be cos of 2 pi? Or let's just say what is going to be, cos of 2 pi. Say cos of 2 pi. When you say cos, do you remember that you measure horizontal? So if I measure horizontal, okay, this is going to be so much because 2 pi is here, no? So how much is this distance? This distance is 1. So cos of 2 pi is going to be 1. Okay. So I hope you get the first one. The cos 2 pi is 1. Now what is going to be cos of 4 pi? Cos 4 pi is also 1. Okay. Now looking at this, can I write down? I hope you understand. I can keep going like that. Cos 6 pi, cos 8 pi, all the values are 1. So what do you say is the conclusion? The conclusion is cos of even pi is plus 1. Now tell me the next one. What if I want to find out cos of pi? Okay. First figure out where is pi. Pi angle is over here. And cos of pi is this angle. Okay. So the pi is over here. Now when you want to find cos of pi, it is a horizontal measure. So measure horizontally over here. So this is what you will measure. And this value is 1. But I hope you understood it is going to be on this direction. Okay. And x is negative on this direction. The horizontal is negative in this direction. So it is going to be minus 1. So let me write that cos of pi, the value is minus 1. I hope you already got that sine of 3 pi will also be, sorry, Cos of 3 pi will also be minus 1 here. Okay, that is also minus 1. Cos of 5 pi is also minus 1. So from here, I'll write down a conclusion that cos of odd pi is going to be minus 1. Okay, now that's the second one. Well, the next is what is going to be sine of 2 pi. Sine of 2 pi, if I find what is the vertical height of this point, it's on the x-axis. So its height or y coordinate is just 0. So sine 2 pi is 0. What if I find sine 4 pi? Sine 4 pi is also 0. I hope you see it's the same angle. What is going to be sine 3 pi? Sine 3 pi is also 0. So in case of sine, what is happening is sine of any pi, I'd rather say all pi, okay, and the answer is just 0. Okay, so this is just to make you understand how things work. But now I'm going to just write down the conclusion in a nicer way, that supposing if I have cos of even number pi, okay, the answer is plus 1. Tell me, what is cos of 44 pi? 44 is an even number, so you'll get cos of 44 pi as plus 1. What if I want to find, say, cos of odd pi? Okay, cos of odd pi is going to be minus 1. That's the conclusion. We already have it here. And sine of all pi, okay, any number if you have and you find out pi, it is 0. Of course, I'm talking about a full number. You can say integer if you want. So let's just say n. Okay, and I'll write down this nicely. Okay, in the book you will find something like this. Let's say n is an integer. Okay, and cos of, now for even you always write 2n. Okay, 2n. Okay, so if you have n as an integer, 2n is always an even integer. So for even, you can write 2n. Okay, just try to put some value of n and you will always come up with the even number. What if n is, say, 3? So 3 times 2 is going to be 6. Is that an even number? So no matter what value you take of n, you will always get even number. So for even numbers, we always write 2n. Just remember that. For even number, we write 2n. All right. So cos of 2n pi, we know if it is an even pi, the answer is 1. Now for odd, we will write like this. Cos of 2n plus 1. Now this here, 2n plus 1 is always an odd number. And for cos of odd pi, the answer is minus 1. And look, if you have cos of 2n plus 1, okay, or 2n minus 1, now this is going to give you odd number. So let me write down here, say, this is just for your reference. So FYI, say n is, say, integer, then 2n simply is even number. Say 2n plus 1 is odd number, and 2n minus 1 is also an odd number. Okay, well, and for sine, how will write it? Sine of all pi, that is sine n pi, is equal to 0. It is very important. Let me repeat one last time, that cos of even pi is 1, cos of odd number pi is minus 1, and sine of all pi is equal to 0. And this is the proper way of expressing that same result. And why, I can just, like, from this diagram, I just showed you how it works, and this is what we got finally. Okay, so now this is the special attention to some of the standard angles that we have to deal with. Moving on, now I want to talk about tan of different angles. And this actually, you can find out tan theta. The easiest way to find tan theta, it is a ratio of sine theta and cos theta. So it is sine theta divided by cos theta. You can always do this and find out tan theta. It's no big deal. But actually, I want you to see tan theta a little differently than what most of the people know. Okay, tan of theta, okay, you will now remember this as a slope. Okay, slope, or you can call it a gradient. Some book will say it's gradient. Okay, so I'm just going to call it slope. So tan theta is nothing but slope. And next point that I want you to note is slope is nothing but how steep. Okay, this is the easiest way to understand slope. So you're asking how much is the slope, so you're asking how steep is it. Okay, so the answer is quite simple. Say if you look at this line here, okay, how steep is this line? What is the slope of this line? Okay, well, if you want to understand the slope of this line, just try and keep something on that line. Okay, let's keep a stone here. Okay, and it will just not fall because the slope is just not there. It's a perfectly flat horizontal line. I hope you get that. The slope is 0 for this line. Okay. And if the slope is 0, so is tan. So I can say tan of 0. When tan of 0 you want to find out, the answer is just 0. Okay. Now understand the slope of this line. Okay, let's just say this is 30 degrees. Okay. When the angle is 30 degrees, say tan of 30, we will say tan pi by 6. Now slope of this line is 1 divided by root 3. So it's 1 by root 3. Okay, you can just like remember this. Then slope of this line, which is a 60-degree line, this is going to be tan of pi by 3, and this slope is just root 3. Okay, slope of 45 degrees, or this is tan of pi by 4, and that is just 1. And slope of pi by 2, this 90-degree angle, tan of pi by 2. Let me write that. This is tan of pi by 2, and this vertical line has got slope infinity. So that slope is going from 0 to infinity. You can just remember the horizontal line has got slope 0. This 30-degree line has got slope 1 by 3. 45 degree will have slope 1, and 60 degrees will have slope root 3. I've written in radians though. Then pi by 2 will have slope infinity. Okay, it's just very convenient if you can remember slope tan theta in terms of a slope of an angle, slope of a line. So say, let's just say if I have to find out say tan of let's say 7 pi by 6. How will you find tan of 7 pi by 6? If you have to use this technique, what you will do is, first you will find out where is pi by 6. No, where is 7 pi by 6? 7 pi by 6 is in the series of pi by 6, which starts here. Okay, you just have to keep going like this. Okay, and then you get this angle is going to be 5 pi by 6. Then the next angle over here, this is going to be 7 pi by 6. Okay, so now that's the angle we want to find out slope of. Now there is one thing about the slope. Do you see that this red line will have equal slope as this black line? What I mean is, if you keep some stone on here, it will slide down because there is a slope. And what if you keep a stone here? It will still slide down. And will they slide in the same speed? I hope you get my point, that a straight line has got slope over here or whether it is over here. The slope of the straight line is going to be same. It's constant. And as we know, tan theta is a slope of line. Okay. So the tan of 7 pi by 6. Okay. Tan of 7 pi by 6 is going to be same as that of this point. Okay. And that tan is nothing but 1 by root 3. So even tan of 7 pi by 6 is going to be 1 by root 3. Now the next question I want to ask you is, what is going to be tan of 5 pi by 6? Okay. Now 5 pi by 6 is the angle over here. Now slope of 5 pi by 6. Okay. I just want you to understand with your common sense that this line and this line is equally steep. How steep? Equally steep. Okay. So they both have an equal slope, this line and this line, they both have equal slope. And if you have an equal slope for both the lines, okay, just that one is going in this direction and other is going in this direction. So what we do is, the slope is same as 1 by root 3. Okay. Just that the direction is the other way around. So we say the slope of 5 pi by 6 is just minus 1 by root 3. So let me write that. This answer is going to be minus 1 by root 3. So please understand, if the slope like this is 1, then the slope like this, which is equally steep, is minus 1. If the slope like this is root 3, then the slope like this is going to be minus root 3. Okay. And once again, let me explain that tan theta is nothing but the slope. Okay. So if you remember it this way, it becomes much easier for you to understand and comprehend a lot of other things. Those will be getting in the advanced math topics that we'll be studying later on. So I hope this helps. And that's why I just drawn a separate unit circle to explain to you the slope of the tan theta part. Or you can always do the other easier way out is, you can always take the ratio of sine and cos, which you're already familiar with, and then you can find out tan theta. Of course, you will get the answer this way as well, but it's much better as a practice if you can follow this, that you remember tan theta as a slope of a line. Okay, so everything becomes much easier to remember. And I really hope I hope you followed this. It might take a little bit more time to in the beginning, but once you get a hang of this whole thing, it will just make your life easier